Yeah, thank you, Mounika. Hi, everyone. Well, I will start my session in a few seconds. Monica, can you stop sharing?
Yeah, I stopped it.
Ah,
Is my screen visible, Praveen?
yeah, it's visible. Sorry, it's audible. Sandeep,
Okay.
can you
Yeah.
turn on your video cam?
Yeah, but I don't have much network.
Okay, fine.
So as it is Teams, it will
Let the
take
session
much
complete
data.
by 8 p.m. Sandeep,
Yeah, but I will try maximum because it's a very much important topic.
okay,
Okay, I'll try to complete it by 8 p.m.
okay.
Okay, guys, let's start this session with Python strings and operations. First of all, what is a string?
Sandeep, please unmute yourself.
Yeah, okay. Am I audible?
Yes, it is fine.
Yeah. Okay. First of all, a string that is enclosed in double quotes or a single quotes, that is called a string. Let's take an example. Learning a Python. This is a string. And let's take another example within single quotes Python. These are the examples of string, how we can declare it. Okay, let's execute the code, whether it is printing or not, both the statements. As we give both arguments with the separated comma, it prints both the strings with the separated with space. Let's check it. See, this is the string 1 and this is string 2. It was printed with this space separated by column. Here. Now, as these are looking like a normal variables, we can't perform some mathematical operations. See, in general, we cannot perform any mathematical operations in string if they look like numbers or something. Let's take another example as s1 is equal to 1 and s2 is equal to 5. What if we try to add the both in numbers as s1 plus s2? We don't get 6 here. We get 15 as the output because 1 and 5 are taken as strings. So string cannot be added. They can only be concatenated. So it's printing as 15. What if we add these two? str1 plus str2. See, it's just printing both the variables without any separation. Now coming to assigning and reassigning the values of a string. We can assign the value to a variable by equal to operator. Example as shown as above, str1 is equal to hello. when we print str1 as hello, prints hello. Let's try to print each single character of str1. It's called indexing. Here in Python, indexing starts from 0. So when we put str of 0, it prints h. As strings are mutable, sorry, we cannot change any single character in the given string. Here, if we want to reassign the value of h with some other character, let's assign str of 0 equal to some other character with r, and let's print the complete string. Basically, it shows error since strings are immutable, that we cannot change any single character. See, string object does not support any item assignment. That means it cannot change the value of a string. So if we want to print, that means let's take an example, printing 7 hello Python. Basically, if we write like this, we used to think we have to write 7 print statements. But Python will help us to print it in a single line with an operator called star. An operator which prints the string how many times we want to print it. Let's say hello star 7. See, it's printing 7 times hello. Reassign. Let's change complete string to another value. It's hello. We can say Python. That means we are changing the complete string hello to Python. Let's check whether it is changed or not. Print of str1. Let's change to Python. This is called reassigning the value of a string. Let's get into multiple assignment of a string. You can assign a value to multiple strings. Example, we can execute that. Let's say a equal to b equal to c equal to some bar. Let's print it individually. Print a the values we have given is single value, but we assign to multiple values. Since it's in Python, it is an easy to work with Python. These are the small things. These small things can be also included. Now we will try to print same values with some separation or like this. If we print like this, it will print in a single line without any interlinks. Now we try same thing with some separation. Here we got spaces as separation. Now we use some separation keyword. SCP is a word keyword that separates a string with another string. Let's take a string as hash. Now it's get printed with hash in between the A to B, B to C. This is called separation of a string, and this is multiple assignment of a string. Now coming to slicing. In the above example, we used slicing. Here. This is called string slicing or indexing. Coming to string slicing. Slicing is a piece from a bigger part. String slicing is also same to cut a substring from a string is called slicing. How indexing will work? Strings are arrays. That means we don't have any separate string concept in C. We have the major advantage in Python compared to C is we have strings here. So comparing to that, we have strings. The indexing starts from 0 when it starts from left side. See, let's take a Python as an example. Each word in the string is PYTHON. So each word will have some separated indexing. The indexing is for P it's 0, Y it's 1. When we go on from left, it goes on increasing from starting with 0. When we start from left side, right side, that means to the ending of the string, n takes -1, -2, -3, -4. It goes on decreasing the value. Let's see some examples on string slicing also.
Hello, Sandeep. Can you please zoom in?
Is that okay now?
Yeah, great.
Yeah. Let's have some examples on string slicing. Let's take this example only. str1 is equal to Python. Let's print the string first, as it's working or not. Yeah, it's working. Now let's dive into slicing. Let's print one of the character. Let's say it's 0, 1, 2, 3. Let's print the h which is in the index of 3. Okay, what is their type object is not substitutable. Okay, I just str1. Yeah, it's printing h. If we print with the negative indices, str1 of, let's print -5. It's y as it's shown. We can also print two separate indexes in a single print statement. Let's print Python of 4 comma str1 of -6. What the value should be printed? 4 and -6. 4 means it's O, -6 means it's P. It should print O with separate with space. This is how the indexing works. Now, how to change or delete a string? Changing is nothing but reassigning of a variable or a value to a variable. Let's reassign the value first. What if we print str of 1? As we assigned str of 1 in the upper statement, it is still stored in it. So here we will reassign the string. 1 is equal to learning. Here still it is Python, but when we reassign or changing the string is reallocating with the space with the learning. Now let's delete the complete str1 variable from the memory. we can use del, that is delete string 1. Deleted string 1, and let's print off str1. Should show some error that str1 is not defined. That means str1 is completely removed from the memory. Now let's look into some Python library methods. First of all, title. Title object supports some following methods. It displays the character of starting word to a capitalized word. That means it changes the beginning of a word in a sentence to capital. Let's see what is the syntax. Str, that means a string variable. String variable dot title of. Let's see one example as st is equal to I am learning Python. Let's print it first. Yeah, it's printing. Now we try to print after changing the string to as a title. That means st dot title of. Every first character of a word in each word change to uppercase. This is how title will work. Next, coming to capitalize. It returns a copy. That means it returns a copy of string with only its first character. Here, in every word the character is changed to capital, but here in capitalize only the first word of the string. That means the complete sentence will change to only capital to capital. Copy string with only one character, first character. Let's see the syntax of capitalize. Same as above mentioned as title, str dot capitalize. Still we have this I am learning Python. Let's print it first. Print of st. We are having I am learning Python as all lower cases. Let's print with capitalizing this sentence. Except the first character of above string, every single character remains same. So this is called capitalizing a string or a sentence. Next, coming to is digit. It checks whether the string consists of digits or not. Let's see the syntax of is digit is same as above, string dot is digit of. Let's see the example. Let's take another example as st is equal to hello 1 2 3 4. Let's whether the string containing any digits or not. The string not only containing only digits, it's also containing some characters. Let's take another example. st1 is equal to 1, 2, 3, 4. Just let's print it, whether the string containing only digits or not. Sorry, where is digit? It's ST. The string only containing only digits, so it's true statement. When we gave the combined string that contains string and as well as digits, it shows false because the string is having some characters also. Coming to count, it returns the specified character count. That means let's see the syntax first and later we can see example. String dot count of value, that means which character count we need, and starting index and ending index. Let's see some example as st is equal to SRKR Engineering College. Let's print the count of st dot count of print the count of R first. 1, 2, and 3. Yeah, we are having 3 R's in the above string. Now let's go from one index to another index. That means print of st dot count of count E starting from 5. That means 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. It starts from this, and let's count it until 16. It will be ending here with this space. So let's check. Yeah, it's also having 3 E's because 1, 2, and 3. So this is how count will work. Coming to the length, it returns the length of a string. That means length of a string. Let's see this syntax. A string dot len of. Sorry. Len of string. String is a variable. We are having ST already as SRK Engineering College. Let's print it first. Yeah. Now let's print the it's containing 24. Let's check. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. It's also counts spaces. 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24. Yeah. So this is the how length function works. Coming to join, it returns a string in which elements of sequence have been joined. That means joining how the syntax will be. String 1 dot join of sequence. How many sequence we have to print with joining of string 1 we can give here. So let's take an example of some special character is equal to double star. Let's define some sequence is equal to 90. Let's print both the variables by joining. That means s underscore ch dot join of sequence. what it's doing, it's taking this cat string and joining in between the string of sequence. Let's take another example as m is equal to triple star. Sequence, let's have 11, 22. Let's print this joining. We have two characters in this, so it will stay in between both of the characters. Let's see. M dot join of sequence. What's the error? Join of sequence. Expected str instance of int form. Yeah, okay. We should declare these as strings. Yeah, it's printing in between the strings as we give two arguments in sequence, so it's joining in between the strings. Okay, now let's go into max and min functions. First, let's see what min function. Returns max character from string. How will be the syntax? Max of string. And along with that, min returns the minimum character. The syntax will be same as max, but here min will be changed. Let's see some example. St is equal to a, b, c, d, e. Be enclosed with double quotes or single quotes as it's a string. Let's first print the string whether it is providing the correct. Yeah, it's good. Let's print the maximum of string. With that, minimum of string. Maximum character in the string is a, e, and the minimum string of the character is a. So this is how the max and min function works. Now coming to replace. It returns a copy of string in which the occurrence of all the old characters or something have been replaced. New characters that we give in the function along with the function. Let's see the syntax. Str dot replace of old characters with new characters until which count we should stop the replacing of all the values. Now let's take one example and check whether replacing is working or not. Let's take Python string as how are you? Yeah, it's working. Let's replace the some characters. Print dot replace of. Let's replace you. How the string gonna print? See, by replacing the u with u, the string has been replaced. Let's see how to replace the single. replace double R print of first we will replace only single first R with small r. What will this is displaying both the r's with the small r. Since we didn't display mention any count, let's mention some count as 1. It's just replacing the first r with small r, and this is how the replace function works. Coming to z, it pods means fills the complete string on the left side. Zeros. That's how it works. Let's see in the example. String dot zfill, filling the required count with zeros. Let's see example. Str is equal to hello. Let's print it first as hello. Sorry, printing hello. Okay, let's print some zeros before the hello prints. Str1 dot of, let's print 4 zeros. It doesn't print 4 zeros. Let's see 10. Here we have already 5 spaces with already filled, so we want to fill it completely with 10, so it prints 5 zeros with 5 hellos. 1 2 3 4 5. As we are mentioning 10, the complete string will be length of 10, so it's printing like this. Let's see another one. And hello 10 zeros along with hello will be printed. Till now strings concept is completed. Do you have any doubts? Mentors, any doubts in the chat box? Let's see. Yeah, one doubt. Can we use double quotes at start and single quote at the end of string? No, you cannot use starting and last same. We should use same quotes, the both of ends. Let's see what happens. Hello. We are closing with single hand. Some error that end of the location while scanning string literal. So it should be closed with what we started. It's printing hello. If there are two same words in a string, how can we replace second word in that string? Okay. This is the question you are asking. Here we are having single R, 2 R's, but here we are replacing second R. How to replace second R? Is that let's see what if the count is 2, I think 2 R's will be replaced. Let's check with negative indexing. Okay. as it's going like this. Let me check it once. For the replacing of that, we have a function that which is in RE. Means it's an another module. That means we have package called RE. In that RE, we have a method called find iter. That means it checks how many times a word is repeated in the string, complete string. Here it just 2 times, so it returns 2 to the a variable. After repeating that variable, the indexes can be assigned here. So like that we can change wherever we want. That is too advanced technique, so we will not go in depth to it. Any more questions, or shall I start control state structures? Yeah, going to Python control structures. As in C, you are learning every control structure is present here, but some advantage in here is we can see how the syntax presents here. Not as in C or some other languages, we need not specify any special braces or some semicolons or some different structures like if or else. Let's get started with sequential control structures. What are sequence control structures? These are a single line statements. The single line statements, whether in which in a sequential order those gets executed. Let's see some examples. Printing some characters H. If we want to write like this, print E. These are getting like this. Now the order can be followed as like this also. We are separating with some semicolon, so it's goes in this sequential order from left to right. Same input and same output. This is the advantage where we can write the complete code in a single line. So it doesn't change any meaning for the output. Coming to select to control state structures. It's probably same as in C, that we see some decision making statements in C. Same as in C, these are some select to control statements that controls the output. Let's see the first control statement, which is if, that is one directional. We use some operators, that is greater than, less than or equal to, greater than or equal to, double equal to, not equal to. Some operators that we use in these statements. So coming to one directional statement, it executes a set of statements conditionally. That means whether we given a condition or not, it checks for the condition and gets executed based on some values. How the syntax will be, let's see. First, if we have two syntaxes for this if statements are for every control statements. Let's see the first statement. If expression. Every statement uses one tab space or 4 white spaces. Now we can write some statements that gets executed when the expression gets true. Statements, some statements, statement 1, statement 2, etc. Let's see one example. Let's take, we have been covered the inputs. So we take a integer input, enter a number, and first of all, let's print a number. Print of x. How to specify a number? Let's specify it as 5. Yeah, okay, it's printing 5. Let's take this and if x is greater than 0, x is greater than 0, print positive. Let's execute this. Print 5. Yeah, 5 is a positive, so it's printing positive. Let's give the negative value. What it shows -1. It's just not printing this statement, so we have given only single statement here. Let's see another syntax. What if we not specify open braces? It gets executed. Statement 1, statement 2. Let's take this off and execute once. Let's give 5. It's getting executed. So for every control structures, we have these two syntaxes similarly, whether using open braces with closed braces or with a space defining the statement and expression. And this is how this one-way directional. Let's see the two-way directional. It is nothing but a if-else statement. It's check for double whether it is true. It gets executed if statement. Otherwise, it's execute else statement. Statement can be combined with to execute the non-if statements with else. Let's see the syntax of how it's going to work. If expression statement 1 else others. Let's see one example by taking an input as above we mentioned. X is equal to int of input, printing that number whether we are taking it perfectly or not. Let's first check. 4. Yeah, we are taking 4 as an input and we are displaying 4 as an output. Otherwise, you can add some extra string that can be displayed in the output. Let's check whether the given number is positive or negative. X is greater than or equal to 0. Sorry. Rather than x is greater than 0, it goes to else statements as it is negative. Enter a number. Let's enter 4. Positive number. Let's enter negative number. Let's take it off equal to. What if we give 0? It's taking as negative, but 0 is not a negative number. 0 when what if 0 enters? It's showing negative. It can be covered in next topic. Let's go into the if else statements. This is a multi-way decision making, so we can write any else if. Elif statement is nothing but else if in C language. Here elif allows us to check whether multiple expressions are true or false. Let's see the syntax, how this going to work. Expression statement 1, elif statement 2. We can write how many elif we want, that many elifs. It doesn't change anything. We can add some unconditional statement as else others. Now let's take an example, same as taking an input integer. Greater than 0. We can write like this also, same syntax in both the excuse me. If x is less than 0, of negative value. If x is a number, since x is a number, we have to give positive, either negative or 0. If not these both, it goes to else statement, that is print of it is 0. Please. Let's execute this. Let's give first 4. Yeah, it's positive. So it doesn't go to elif and else statements, as it is a single condition checkup. When the condition is true here, it's just execute this and completely avoid these two conditions. Now execute with negative value, some -9. Why negative as an output? Let's give 0. So it's showing that it is an 0. This is how the multi-way decision works. With now going to nested if else, that means inner decisions. Here we use single dimension decisions. Here we use multi-dimension. That means we can use if inside an if, or else inside a if, so on. Let's see how the syntax will be. We started with expression. We here can start with another expression. That means if this expression true, it need to be true. It's to go to statement 1. Otherwise, we can write it as else statement 2. Statement 3. That means here, if the statement expression in the if first if true, it goes to the second if. It checks for the given expression whether it is true or false. If it is true, it goes inside and avoids the complete this else part and this else part. If it is false, it goes to second else. After coming out of this, if this is not true, whether this is true or false, then it directly goes to the else statement. Let's take an example. X is equal to let's see, if x greater than or equal to 0, we will mention in single statement, it goes inside. If x equal to 0, we are checking if the x is 0 or not. Print 0. We are mentioning two conditions, that it is greater than or 0 or equal to 0. If x is equal to 0, it goes inside. Otherwise, it is entered as positive number. So we print as positive. If not greater than 0 and not equal to 0, it must be negative number. So we print as negative. Let's see. We will give 5. So it enters. Since 5 is greater than or equal to 0 and goes inside, it checks whether we entered 5 double equal to 0. Since it is a false statement, it deletes it, doesn't go inside this if, and it goes only inside this if and else and prints the positive number and avoids this complete outside else part. Let's give some negative number as -7. It's in the first statement itself, it's showing that -7 is not greater than or equal to 0. So it is avoiding the complete if statement and goes to else part. So this is how the if statements and else statement works. Let us see one script. Let's read this. Write a script to read 5 subject marks from the student. If any subject is given less than 40, display as failed. If all the subjects are above 40 or above, then calculate the average and give the grades from A plus, B plus, C, D. Let's see this script. Let's take the first subject marks as M1 of input enter marks. Let's take the complete 5 as single statements. The subject 4, 5. Now let's check the condition. If M1 less than 40, less than 40, or M4 less than 40 and less than 40. If any of the subject is less than 40, it should be displayed as you have failed the semester. Let's see failed. Just whether it is working or not. Enter marks. Let's enter first 55. It's again asking 67. Let's just fail one subject 30, 78. Showing that you have failed the exam. Student get passed in all exams. That means if he is not failed, it gets into the else part. Here we will calculate the average that equal to M1 plus M2 plus M5. That we can divide it with 5. As it is a normal division, we can allow float data types also. If not, we can use as round off. It will be easy then. Let's check whether marks is in between the grading system or not. If average is greater than or equal to 90 and average is less than 100, that means if we specify and both the statements should be true to get inside the if statement. Otherwise it will not get into the statement. Here when we see or statement, every statement should be true. If any statement falses, it gets executed and print failed. One subject is enough to be failed, so it gets or is used to decide one. But it comes to and every statement should be considered whether it is true or false. See, let's print it as a plus. Let's see same, but the values must be changed. Here we should be given 80 and 90. What should it? Let's execute. Let's copy paste. It should be 70 here and it should be 80 here. And it should be B plus. Sorry, it should be 60. It should be 70. Finally, it should be 50 and less than 60. It should be C. And if it is less than 50, that means it should be below greater than 40. Then he should be shown as D. Let's see what will the grading marks. What if we give above 90 marks? It should be printed as A. Since the maximum, the average of all the subjects will be above 90, so it's get executed by this statement. This is how the if and else part will work. Now getting to the negative condition using membership operator. The membership operators is nothing but a not that will be shown as negative. That means if the statement is true, with not operator, we can make it as false statement. This is also an if else statement. Let's see one example. X is equal to int of input. Let's print OS. Can is printing not. Let's see, we are giving X is equal to as 5. It should be printed give 5. It's shown as here print 5 and inside print 5. If we provide not as before the expression, if we give 5 equal to here not 5, as it's mentioned not, if we give 5 is equal to 5 is a true expression, but we have given not, so it shows as a false, so it will execute as not 5 when we give 5. Sorry. And we give 5, showing as 5. Let's see, X is different. here, x is 5. So it doesn't go to here. Now coming to iterative control structures. Let's see what is a loop. In every in a C concepts, we have looping control structures that iterates as much as we want to, how much the range we want to, it iterates to that much range. Now let's see what is a loop. Loop is a sequence. Instructions that is continuously repeated. Until when we specify some range or some value, it will be iterated to that much value. Let's see how the for loop works.
Sandeep,
Yeah.
Sandeep, we have an announcement. Will
Okay.
you please be on hold?
Yeah, sure.
Okay, guys, the feedback form and the assessment link will be mailed to you shortly in 30 minutes. After that, when you got mail, the link will be active only 30 minutes, and you should attempt the assignment within 30 minutes only. After 30 minutes, the link will not be active; it will inactive only. Okay. Check your mails after the session. Sandeep, make sure complete the session by 8:30. It's been 4.5
Yeah,
hours.
Praveen, I will try to complete, but we have some topics.
These are the concepts which are remaining.
These are the important topics for the basics now. So
Okay, make sure
I'll try
complete the session by 8:30 p.m.
Yeah, I'll try.
Okay,
Sandeep.
guys, check your mails after 30 minutes.
Sandeep.
Yeah. Hello.
Yeah. Hello, Sandeep. This is Kishore.
Yeah, sir.
Yeah, no problem. You continue, but make it a little bit fast.
Yes, sir.
You
Yes,
try
sir.
to cover all the. You try to cover all the topics. Don't.
Yes, sir.
hurry
I will
anything.
try to complete it as it's been late, but I will try to complete.
Yeah. Carry on.
Yes, thanks. Let's see the syntax of for loop first. As in for variable name. In is a keyword that specifies the variable name is in some sequence. Sequence may be of string or a list or a tuple or any character or but cannot be a integer. So by using integer we can also iterate in the loop but not in directly without any specifying any range or something. Let's see first how the statement works. Let's go into the next time. Okay, this is the syntax for the variable name in sequence. Let's see. For character in some string as Python, display what it executes python. This character in the for loop goes in each character. That means first iteration it goes p and ython. Let's see how this internally works. Let's print first what is in the. Let's take a character. Let's take a pystring. It's not mandatory to take this only as a variable name. We can take any variable name as here. Let's say your name also hello is equal to Python. We have a keyword called iter that completely rotates inside the string that we given here. Let's give the string hello that we have declared above as Python. So let's try to print of iter, itr. It's showing an object, so we should use as next of to change the object to a string. It's printing p, so we have inside iter is in position of p. Let's print the another lines. How many words we have? 1 2 3 4 5 6. So already printed 1 2 3 4 5 6. It's printing Python. Here the word contains only 6 characters because so it is easy to print 6 print statements. What if I have something can't readable? So we use the for loop instead of this complete string. Let's see the string in the upper statement. We don't need to write complete print statements for the whatever string we have to print in for loop. Every character will be printed within the given range. This is how the basic Python for loop works. And this is the internal working of for loop. This is the part that internally works. Let's take another example using some basic list. Let's define list as alias. Let's take 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. For I in alias of I. That means the I will take the values that are inside the alias. That is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and those are get printed. See, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We can use Python tuples, dictionaries, or some other sets. Any single character strings we can use also here as a Python py. Let's use some float values 4.5. Now let's see what this executes. See, it doesn't check any data type, whether it was belong to same data or different data. It just check the values that was present in the above statement. Coming to upper statements, let's see what is a range. First of all, range generates some items within the given values. Let's see the syntax of the range. We have 3 syntaxes for range. First one is range of stop value, where we should stop the complete value. Next, range of start comma stop, where should we have to start, where should we have to stop. Next, third one is range comma start comma stop, and at the ending we can use the another character that incrementing the value or decrementing the value. Increment and decrement. As in C, use I value at the end of for loop, that I plus plus. So here we use increment and decrement in the range function. Let's see these range functions one by one. Let's see here. Yeah. First is range of stop. in range of, let's give 10 and print of I. Let's see what it, as it's starting from 0 and it's going one by one, incrementing plus 1 plus 1 plus 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8 9. That means it doesn't equal to the 10 because the for loop range will ends up to the 10 given stop value, not includes, it's exclude. When we give plus 1, it should it will also gives the 11 10 also, because it's up to 11. We can give it as 11. It will display 0 to 10. This is the one range value. Let's see the another range, as we are having both start and stop. Of start, example for I in range of as here we are starting with 0, we can specify the start value as 1 to 5. We have mentioned that we should start from 1 and it goes up to 5 minus 1, that is 4. Let's see, it's we want 5 value, it should be specified as 6. It would also show 5. Next we will check the next range function as start, stop, comma, increment or decrement. For I in range of, let's start with 1 comma, stop with the 10, so 11. We will go with adding 2 to the I. Let's see what will this loop 2. It's starting from 1. Here it is adding plus 2, so it's plus 3. And from plus 3 at 3, it's adding 2. It becomes 5, and it is incrementing 2 at a time. Let's see, it's a 5. It should be added with the 5. 1 plus 5 is equal 1 plus 5 is equal to 6, so 6 will be printed. 6 plus 5 11. As 11 is the end statement, it ends here and get out of the for loop. Let's see what if we reverse the start and stop by decrementing. If for I in range of, as we decrement the values, we should not go to the negative values, so we start from 10 to 0 by decrementing with 2 minus 2. Let's print off. What will be, let's separate these two statements with some different characters. Here 16 is printed. Here second for loop is starting from 10 and decreasing by minus 2. So 10 minus 2 8, 8 minus 2 6, 6 minus 2 4, and goes on up to 2. This is how the third range function works. Now coming to the looping control statement. The looping control statement is called as break. As in C, we use break statements in looping statements. It just breaks the complete loop at a single condition. Let's see one example that we can examine. Let's see first syntax. How the full name in sequence. Statement 1, statement 2 executed after we provide some expression. If this expression gets executed, the loop will be terminated by using break statement. So we go with an example for n in range decrement the values from 6 to 1 by decrementing with 3. And equals to 3. Let's see, normally prints the all the numbers print off. Yeah, 6 and 3. So when we come across 3, let's break here. Let's print the now we can print the n value outside the if statement. Else we print the n value as inside that. So what will get executed? So invalid syntax. So this. Yeah, its first n value is 6, so it goes in 6 is not equal to 3, so it will not break and print 6 value and decrement by -3. So it goes when it becomes n value becomes 3, it goes inside and is equal to 3 is equal to 3, so it will break without printing the n value. Let's take another example. Of same values we will provide. Of n, let's print it first and then check the condition whether n is equal to 3 or not. If n is equal to 3, it will break out of the loop, and outside the loop we will print the n value whether it is showing 3 or not. So let's execute. It's first we are printing 6, n is not equal to 3, so it's coming out and going again back without going to the statement, because the for loop is not completed to print outside the for loop statements. After printing 6 and going back to the for loop, it will be reduced by -3, so n value becomes 3. Now n value is printed after it is checking whether it is n is equal to 3 or not. When n is equal to 3, it is breaking out, so final n will be stored with 3. So at the end of the for loop we are trying to print the statement with 3. This is the for loop with the break statement. Let's see how the continue works. Continue and break are the both statements that are already in C classes. Let's see what continue, how continue works. Statement jumps, it jumps to next iteration or some values or some instructions. Iterations of the loop by skipping the condition. See how this continue syntax gonna work. Same for variable name in sequence. Some statements will be worked if x equal to 3, x is equal to syntax. If some expression works, let's continue without doing any action and statement. This is how the syntax of continue will be. Let's see. For I in range 1, 5, with we can increment with 1 value. We will see if n equal to 3. Continue. After continuing, we will print outside the if statement. What this actually shows is when n equal to 3, it shows continue. So it doesn't execute any statement that is below the continue statement. So it goes back to the for loop and increment by 1, then n becomes 4. So here 3 will not be printed in the output. What's happening? Let's see. So here we are printing I is equal to 1, 2, 3. Sorry, I provided here as n. I should be provided as I. Since we are using variable name as I. Let's see. See 1, 2, 3 is kept with continue statement, and after that we are printing with 4 as 3 is incremented by 4. The continue statement can be used after the printing, so there will be no use for us. That's it works. It prints all the numbers. Since we are printing first and checking the condition, it doesn't affect any output. So if you want to check whether it is affected or not, we should write it as after continue statement. So we will missing the value of 3 here. Coming to the while loop, as in the C, here we use while loop, but with same as in C, here also we will use same syntax but without any parentheses or semicolons. Let's see the syntax. While of expression. Some statements. Finally, increment or decrement statements. Let's see some examples by printing the values. Let's define n is equal to 0. While n less than 10. Less than 10 doesn't include the value 10 because we are stopping up to the value that less than 10. So we print first n and then increment the value as n plus is equal to 1. Let's see this. See, it's printing 0 to 9 values. Instead of using n plus is equal to 1, if we use n plus plus, it doesn't execute because n plus plus is not a valid syntax in Python. This syntax will be worked in C or C++, any language, but this not be work in Python. We should say n plus is equal to 1 or n is equal to n plus 1. The both statements will work, but n plus plus will not be work or plus plus n will not be work. So this is how the while loop works. Now coming to the Python nested loops. Nested loops is nothing but a loop inside a loop. Loop inside a loop. Whether it will be for while or both are for or both are while, it can be any of the both. Let's see the syntax. First we use both for inside a for where 1 in sequence 1. Let's have some statements here also, statement 2, and then we can have another for loop as where 2 in sequence 2, and we can have inside the statements also something like statements. Major these loops can be used in sorting techniques and pattern printings. So let's see one example. I in range of comma 5 range of let's add these I plus j values. Like we give first print I plus j. To print what is the j values and I values. Let's print first as I equal to and here I equal to I value and plus j equal to j value. What we will provide is plus j. Okay, what is there? String cannot be concatenated. Yeah. So as string input I is a I and j are integers, they cannot be concatenated to a string value. So we will change the I values to string and execute the code. Still it's not concatenating, it's getting difficult. Plus j. First, let's take these statements as I runs from 1 to 5. That means I is equal to 1, I is equal to 2, I is equal to 3. Let's see the why before statement is not working. Okay, I just provided some. This is not the concatenation, so we can remove the str objects type conversion here. So I is equal to 1 at the starting and j is equal to 1, and it's equal to 1 plus 1 is equal to 2, 2 plus 1 is equal to 3, 3 plus 1 is equal to 4, 4 plus 1 is equal to 5. This is how the two for loops inside a for inside a for will be work. Now we get into pass statements. This is a new word that you will heard in Python itself. You will not have any pass statement in C or any languages. It is a null statement. That means it doesn't do any condition or doesn't work any like it's like a comment that which will execute but doesn't display any content in the output screen. Let's see for I in Python. What if we say pass? It is an empty output that will not show anything in the outside the for loop. So if we see print if I double equal to p, and print I values. So this is an unnecessary loop that if I is equal to p, it will pass. Means if we write here continue, it doesn't go to the down statement. Python will not be executed. When we use past statement, it doesn't do anything. That means it is a null statement. But in real-time example world, we use the past statement for some different conditions which will be useful in future. So this is how the past statement works. Let's see some built-in functions. First of all, let's see zip. What is zip? It's a pop zip, which is
Hello,
Yeah.
Sandeep.
yes.
You just ask the attendees that whether they are comfortable or not. If they are comfortable, then we'll continue.
Yes, yes.
Just ask.
Guys, are you attendees?
So how much time?
Are you comfortable with it?
Sandeep,
Sir,
how much time
mostly,
till you?
Yes, sir, it's ending, but we have some examples for them. With examples, we will close the session, sir.
Yeah, 15 minutes.
Yeah, it will take mostly 20-30 minutes, sir.
Yeah.
After completing these functions, we have just examples on loops and some function also, some patterns.
We'll cover maybe we'll cover these topics tomorrow before next session, tomorrow's session then, because
Yeah,
it's
okay,
already 8:30.
It's already 8:30.
So
Yes,
if they are ready,
sir, we'll do one thing, sir.
yes.
Hello, sir. So
Tell me.
we will send the assessment link and feedback link by tomorrow morning 9 a.m.
Yeah,
sir.
yeah. Tomorrow morning. The attendees
Most of
are requesting that.
Yes, sir. They're also having internet issues, and most of them battery is about to die, sir. It's nearly about 5 hours.
Yeah,
So
that's why I'm asking the Sandeep. So
okay, sir. Okay,
so
Sandeep,
they are
you can,
already.
okay, sir.
Yeah, okay,
Sandeep,
sir.
you can continue this
I will
topic.
continue it tomorrow, sir. Otherwise.
Sandeep, whatever,
Yes, sir.
maybe 2 or 3 topics are there. So you please try to cover those 3 topics tomorrow before tomorrow's session.
Okay, sir.
You take 50 half an hour.
Yes, it's about half an hour.
So that you can get you can go with good examples.
Yes, yes.
Plenty of time will be there for you. So better we'll stop here.
Okay, sir.
Please don't mind, Sandeep. Just
Yes, yes, sir.
till now your session is excellent. It is very cool and it is very informative.
Yes, thank you, sir.
Okay, so
Yes, sir. I will continue it tomorrow.
Please try to inform to the attendees. So that.
Yes. Yeah, okay, guys. We are stopping the session here. Don't message. Please stop.
Okay, sir. Shall I end the live now?
Okay, what is the time tomorrow, Prudhvi?
Tomorrow it's for 5 p.m.
5. Okay.
5 to 8 p.m.
Can I get half an hour to 40 minutes tomorrow session?
I'll ask Kishore I'll request Kishore to give you 30 minutes before his session. So you can complete it as soon as possible.
Okay.
Okay, Sandeep, thank you very much for your valuable time and your valuable knowledge sharing with our juniors. So can I end the live now?
Yeah. Okay.
Sandeep.
Sir. Yes, sir.
Your session is. I followed your session. Your session is excellent. Very
Thank
cool
you,
and very informative.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, sir.
Attendees, I hope.
Pleasure, compliments, sir.
It is. I enjoyed the very clear explanation. Very clear.
Yes, sir.
So till now the 73 members. Hats off all the attendees. So that much interest you showed. I know the difficulty behind the online classes, attending too much time, nearly 4.5 hours continuous session. So thank you very much. all the attendees, please try to show the same spirit in the next coming 2 days.
Sir, I think
So if you are attentive, our students, you already observed the talent of our CSI students. So if you are interested, we are ready to deliver. Our students are ready to deliver as much as possible. Okay, thank you everyone, all the attendees, and thank you very much the organizers, mentors. Mornings was the first session. Mounika is also done very good job. Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you, sir. Sir, I think tomorrow at morning 9 o'clock, juniors are having class up to 12
first half an hour icheyandi.
Okay, sir, but they are having classes at 9 now, so they are asking to conduct it in afternoon session, sir.
Afternoon session?
Yes, so we will plan it on afternoon 1 or 2 o'clock for up to 30 minutes.
Okay. You discuss and inform to the attendees.
Okay, sir. Okay, sir.
Okay. So, but tomorrow half an hour for Sandeep, because he has to cover 2 more topics, and as well as the doubt session also be there.
Yes.
Yes.
Doubts
Okay,
clarification. So okay, half an hour, Sandeep. Next 2 sessions will be continued.
Okay, sir.
Thank you. Yes, excellent.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir. So attendees, you can leave the session now. Thank you for your patience. Sandeep, I am ending the live now. Okay.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
Thank you, sir. Thank you.